Zamfara First Lady flagged off World Cancer Day in the state. Stakeholders condemned 20-year jail term for bandits, but proposed death penalty on them. Nigeria seek quick delivery of Tucano fighter jets from US. Kano reiterates commitment for befitting world-class cancer center. On business, federal government to take stock of all assets on agricultural reforms. On sports, President Buhari appoints ex-Super Eagles forward Amokachi football ambassador. And on the international scene, China marks deadliest day of recorded death on the outbreak of coronavirus. Welcome to Standard Voice Television News. I am Musa Joy Onyuyoza. Now the news in full. The First Lady of Zamfara State, Hajia Aisha Bello Matawale, in collaboration with State Ministry of Health for Women and Children Affairs, Ahmed Sani Yerima Bakura Specialist Hospital and Sefia Magaji Foundation, had on Tuesday, 4th February 2020, flagged off the World Cancer Day at Yerima Bakura Specialist Hospital, Zamfara State. The First Lady described the event as a day to mourn because many women have lost their lives due to cancer disease. Hajia Aisha Bello Matawale called on women to fight against cervical and breast cancer, encouraging those who are already affected by the disease to stay strong.
This World Cancer Day, we recognize that our commitment to act will lead to powerful progress in reducing the global impact of cancer. It is important to note that cancer is very deadly. If detected earlier, it can be treated. One of the common causes related is late presentation or detection of the actual problem due to poverty or lack of adequate treatment or ignorance of the disease. Available records show that breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer-related deaths, followed by cervical cancer among women in Nigeria and Zamfara State. It is in recognition of the above preventive measures, the Office of the First Lady of Zamfara State, in collaboration with the Alhaji Sani Yerima Bakura Special Hospital and the Ministry of Health and the State Ministry of Women Affairs, decided to bring to the notice of all women in Zamfara State the need to undergo regular screening with the aim of detecting those at risk and hence prevent the occurrence of this deadly disease.
Present at the event are Medical Director Alhaji Usman Mohammed Shanawa, Commissioner for Women, Children and Social Development Hajia Zainab Lawal Gumi. Some Zamfara State residents have kicked against an executive bill sent to the State House of Assembly which proposed 20-year jail term for bandits. They also kicked against the proposal that stolen property be forfeited and handed to the state government instead of the rightful owners. Speaking at a one-day public hearing on the bill for a law on banditry, kidnapping, cattle rustling, terrorism, and other incidental offenses organized by the Assembly on Tuesday, many participants suggested bandits should be executed. One of the stakeholders, Bello Galadi, said the fight against banditry and other related crimes would never come to a halt unless capital punishment was upheld. He also called on the state government to make sure that all bandits were forced out of the state. Another speaker on the occasion, Malam Sanusi Kwatarkoshi, said in Islamic law as well as a conventional law, anybody who is found guilty of killing his fellow human being should also be killed. He also urged the State Assembly to promulgate similar penalty to the desecrator of the Holy Quran. The Speaker, Mazuma Garia, said the House decided to inaugurate the committee in order to enact a law that would deal decisively with anybody found in such acts. He said the state was also experiencing cattle rustling, kidnapping, cultism, terrorism, and other related crimes. Speaking earlier, the chairman, Joint Committee of the House, Yusuf Al-Hassan Kanuma, told the gathering that his committee had met with all relevant stakeholders across the state. To enhance efficient military operations in the country, Nigeria has appealed to the United States of America to speed up the delivery of the acquired A-29 Super Tucano aircraft. Nigeria's Minister of Defense, retired Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi, made the call when he played host to the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Leonard, in Abuja. Retired Major General Magashi applauded the United States of America's government in her continued support to Nigeria in the areas of healthcare and military operations. He said Nigeria has benefited from the U.S. in providing equipment for the Nigerian Air Force, activation of the Charlie 130, supplying of aircraft spare parts, training, educational, and numerous health programs. Also speaking, the U.S. ambassador assures that America will continue to collaborate with Nigeria to combat the insecurity posed by the Boko Haram and other terror groups operating in the country. She said that Pentagon is always ready to collaborate with Nigeria in combating insecurity, conflict management, and precision in addressing human concerns. The ambassador, however, tasked the Nigerian military to maintain professionalism by protecting human rights in their operations. Meanwhile, the American Defense Attaché Colonel Andrew Clark requested for a regular joint military strategic meeting between the U.S. and the Nigeria military. Kano State Governor Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje on Tuesday reiterated commitment towards hastening the construction of state-of-the-art cancer center in the state as the world celebrates Cancer Day themed I Can, We Can. The governor calls for the dire need to tame cancer in both treatment and management. The foundation of the multi-billion naira center was recently laid by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, situated adjacent to Muhammadu Buhari Specialist Hospital, Gijinyu in Kano. This was contained in a message to celebrate the World Cancer Day issued by the governor's chief press secretary, Abba Awar, and obtained by the Solace. It's noted that the center was as a result of his visit sometime last year to Melbourne, Australia, where he saw a World Cancer Center. A report shows that only 8 teaching hospitals in the country have radiotherapy machines for cancer treatment. The Kano Cancer Center can boast of having this and other latest machines for that purpose. The center is slated to be completed and commissioned this year, 2020. 4 people have been burned to death as a result of a ghastly motor accident at Dubin Rauga village along Zaria-Kaduna Road on Tuesday, which involved Chief Dominic Uzu, a former secretary of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Kaduna State Council. Briefing journalists on the accident in his office, the Commander Zaria Unit Command of FRSC, Abubakar Marabus Tata, said 1 person was burnt beyond recognition and was buried at the scene of the accident. Mr. Marabus Tata added that the 2 vehicles involved in the accident were coming from Kaduna before the overspeeding open-body trailer hit the bus while trying to avoid potholes on the road, and the bus burst into flames. The vehicle registration number for the open-body trailer is PKY 321YF, white in color, and the Toyota Hiace with registration number SB632NSR, yellow and green color. He said 2 people were burnt beyond recognition and it was 3 males and 1 female among the deceased, while 6 people who sustained injuries were taken to ABU Shika Zaria for treatment, and the dead bodies were also deposited at the hospital mortuary. The FRSC commander attributed a consistent accident on the road to overspeeding by motorists despite the road construction going on. When contacted on her mobile phone, one of the late Dominic's daughter, Miss Dame Dominic, called and said his relatives were already in Zaria to take the corpse to Kaduna for further arrangements. Late Chief Dominic Uzo has left his wife and 4 children, 3 female and 1 male. He held various positions in the field of journalism before his untimely death. A 17-year-old housewife, Rabi Rabiu, who stabbed her husband Shamsu Salisu to death in Katsina State last Wednesday, has explained that a misunderstanding on who should first charge their mobile telephone led to a scuffle in which he died. Rabi, who was paraded at the Katsina State Police Command headquarters on Tuesday, said amidst sobs that she never knew the stab could lead to the death of the 25-year-old Salisu. According to her, the accident happened on Wednesday morning when public power supply was restored in their community and she wanted to charge her phones. She said Salisu equally wanted to charge his phones at the same time, which led to a scuffle between the two of them, adding that Salisu drew out a knife which she snatched from him.
Wannan asuba ne na taso zan sa caji an kawo wuta. Na zo zan sa tubaturin matar yayin shi ne. Na zo zan sa shi ne sai ya tashi ya ce shi zai sa shi ne sai ya ce ya haƙuri. Idan na ta ya cika shi sai ya sa tun daga nan yake za to dawa ta ranar Lahadi. Na ga yana ta jin haushi na ni ban san abin da ne mashi ba ya dai ya zagan ya ce ne mashi laifi ni kuma na ba shi haƙuri. To da na tashi za caji na sa ya zo. Da ya zo shi ne ya ce shi ya sa ce ya haƙuri idan na ta ya cika shi ne sai ya sa na shi ya ce shi sai ya ci uwata tun da ni ba shi ba abokin wasa na bane ba na yi mashi laifi ina ƙarawa shi ne ya ce to ya haƙuri ni ban san ne mashi laifi ba sai na ci da batirin nashi wanda ya sa na sa na ta zan kwanta shi ne ya ɗauko ya ta yana zagi na shi ba abokin wasa na bane ni kuma sai na riƙe wuƙa muka kama kokowa cikin ɗaki.
President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday presented to the public the Nigerian visa policy for the year 2020 at the State House, Abuja. President Buhari said the review of the visa policy is intended to attract innovation, specialized skills and knowledge from abroad to complement local ones. The 2020 visa policy is to enhance business opportunities and achieve African integration through the visas on arrival for holders of passports of African Union countries. There are 79 visa classifications in the revised policy, one of which is the visa on arrival. The revised policy followed President Buhari's pronouncements in November 2019 that a new policy of visas on arrival would be granted to all African travelers starting from January 2020. The new policy favors Africans with a valid passport who wish to come into the country for a short visit, for businesses, and for tourism, as the visa grants them legal stay for up to 90 days.
The Nigerian Visa Policy 2020 is intended to attract innovation, specialized skills, and knowledge from abroad to complement locally available ones. I am confident that the implementation of the Nigerian Visa Policy 2020 will support the attainment of a globally competitive economy for Nigeria by building on the efforts of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. The policy is expected to improve the business environment, attract foreign direct investment, and boost tourism without compromising national security.
According to the President, the visa on arrival policy provides an avenue to achieve African integration. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. On business, Jemima Samuel has more detail.
Welcome to Business Desk. The federal government has directed stock taking of all its agricultural assets across the country. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Alhaji Sabuna Nunu, made this known to newsmen during the 2019 Monitoring and Evaluation meeting held in Abuja. He said he has been instructed to effect documentation of agricultural assets across the country by both state and zonal coordinators. The minister cited the continuous underutilization and accountability of several agricultural assets such as land and building in the country. Alhaji Sabuna Nunu further urged the stakeholders involved to create ways in which projects can be adequately monitored and evaluated by ministry in order to achieve better results in 2020 capital budget. He also acknowledged the efforts of the federal government in working hard to ensure the success of the ministry as he referred to the President 2020 State of the Nation's address of the 1st of January 2020 concerning livestock, mechanization and extension services. Also speaking, Dr. Abdulkadir Ma'azu, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, urged the zonal and headquarters in various states to work in unison to successfully implement the project, especially towards the agricultural activities project for 2019 and 2023. He assured that the meeting will produce positive outcome from all the participants. And that's all we have on Business Desk today. I am Jemima Samuel.
And on sports, Sufyan Abubakar has more detail.
Good day and welcome to Standard Voice Television Sports Room. My name is Abu Sufyan Abakar and as usual I bring the sports updates. President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed the retired Nigerian professional footballer, former Super Eagles player and assistant coach Daniel Amokachi as Nigeria's football ambassador. The Nigerian football ambassador is a largely ceremonial role. Omokachi will assist the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development to scout for talent, be part of the processes to revive the country's football development, as well as mentor young sportsmen and women. Mr. Omokachi, a member of the 1994 Super Eagles team that won the African Cup of Nations in Tunisia, was also in the Nigerian Olympic football team that won gold medal at the Atlanta 96 Olympics. In addition to his football exploits in Europe, particularly in England, where he won the FA Cup with Everton in 1995, Omokachi, after his retirement, has managed Nasarawa United and Eyimba Football Club of Aba, and also has been the Super Eagles assistant coach for a short while. And here are the results of the major games played in Europe on Wednesday. In the FA Cup, Liverpool defeated Shrewsbury with a 0-0 to progress to the quarter-finals of the competition, while Derby County also defeated Northampton with 4-2. And in the French League, PSG defeated Nantes 1-2, while in German Super Cup, Schalke 04 played a 2-2 draw with Hertha Berlin, while Borussia Dortmund lost away to Werder Bremen in a 5-goal thriller. And that's all we have on sports today. Back to the newsroom.
And on the international scene, China has recorded the greatest number of deaths and cases since the outbreak of the coronavirus, as the virus continues to show no signs of fading away. As at today, China recorded 20,438 cases of the virus and 425 confirmed deaths, with about 2,790 people in critical condition. Other countries are not left out, as over 185 cases have been recorded in 26 other countries outside China and 2 deaths in Hong Kong and Philippines. In order to fight this epidemic, China has built an emergency medical facility in 10 days. The Holshan Hospital in central China's Wuhan, controlled by the military medical teams. So far, the first 50 sets of patients infected with the deadly virus have been transferred to the hospital for medical attention. The hospital is equipped with 1,000 beds and 19 inpatient wards, including intensive care units for patients in critical condition. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Zamfara First Lady flag off World Cancer Day in the state. Stakeholders condemn 20-year jail term for bandits, but propose death penalty on them. Nigeria seek quick delivery of Tucano fighter jet from U.S. Kano reiterates commitment for befitting world-class cancer center. On business, federal government to take stock of all assets on agricultural reforms. On sports, President Muhammadu Buhari appoints ex-Super Eagles forward Amokachi football ambassador. And on the international scene, China marks deadliest day of recorded death on the outbreak of coronavirus. Thanks for watching. I still remain Musa Joy Onioda. Stay tuned.